Hi yogis. Well, I'm very excited today because I've managed to escape London for the weekend and I'm in the beautiful Gloucestershire countryside to do our yoga practice today. So a little bit different. I hope you enjoy a bit of different scenery. I'm certainly loving it here. Right, let's get started for our yoga sequence today. Starting off in a child's pose, bringing the big toes to touch, take the knees slightly apart. Walking the hands down, bringing your forehead down onto the mat. So closing down your eyes, reaching the arms out in front, just pressing your hips back towards your heels and just melting the body down. Just coming into a nice resting pose to start our practice. Balasana, child's pose. So just melting the chest down towards the mat as you exhale. Just feeling the spine starting to lengthen and stretch. And then starting to find that stillness in the mind. So creating stillness in the body and then just drawing the attention inwards, starting to become aware of your breath, just starting to breathe nice and deeply in and out through the nose. So just starting to slow the breath down, taking nice deep inhales in through the nose, long exhalations out through the nose. So this pranayama, this breath control, just helps us to calm the nervous system down and just focusing on being present for the next 60 minutes. So just trying not to get distracted by any thoughts or sounds. Just focusing on being here, now, and just giving the mind a little bit of rest, a bit of stillness while we practice our yoga. So just take 3 more rounds of nice deep breath in your child's pose. Keep pressing the hips back towards the heels, melting the chest down as you exhale. And just feeling the spine start to lengthen. And after your 3rd deep breath, softly opening up your eyes, slowly making your way onto all fours. So finding that tabletop position, spread the fingers nice and wide. And we'll start to mobilize our spine, taking some cat-cow stretches. So as you inhale, looking up, point the tailbone to the sky. As you exhale, round the spine, bring your chin to your chest. Let's inhale, looking up into cow pose. Exhale, making an angry cat pose. Inhale to arch your spine. Exhale, rounding your spine. Let's inhale to look up. Exhaling, chin to chest. Inhale, push the chest forward. Exhale, draw the navel in. So one more nice big inhale. And exhale. So let's come back to our neutral spine. As you inhale, take the right arm up to the sky. As you exhale, thread the right arm underneath the left. Bring your right ear, right cheek down to the mat. And you can leave the left hand where it is, or you can just creep that left hand towards the top of your mat, just getting this nice stretch through the shoulders. So really push that right shoulder into the mat, keeping the hips up nice and high. Taking in a couple of deep breaths here, really feeling that stretch. And then making your way back into your tabletop position. we'll take that stretch on the left. So inhale the left arm up to the sky. As you exhale, thread the left arm underneath the right, bringing that left shoulder down to the mat. And again, you can keep the right hand where it is, or just reach the right arm towards the top of your mat. And just taking in a couple of really deep breaths here, pressing that left shoulder in, keeping the hips up high, and then slowly making your way back to center. Okay, let's tuck the toes under and push ourselves up into our first downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. So let's get set up in our inverted V shape. So making sure your fingers are still spread nice and wide, middle finger points forwards, press your heels down towards the mat and pushing your chest towards your thighs, so lifting your tailbone up towards the sky. Now if your hamstrings are feeling a little bit tight today, then just keep a little bit of softness in the knees, so just bend those knees down, press the chest towards the thighs. Otherwise, just pressing the heels down towards the mat, just feeling that nice stretch down through the backs of the legs. Let's start to lift up one heel and then the other. So nice and slowly, just walking the downward dog out, feeling that lengthening down through the back of the legs. Engaging your core muscles a little bit here. Just give the head a little shake out as well, yes and no. Release any tension in the head and the neck. And then bringing yourself back to stillness. Take a nice big inhale, coming onto tiptoes. Stretch out those legs. As you exhale, press the heels down towards the mat. Inhaling onto tiptoes. Exhale, heels towards the mat. And then just taking some little steps towards your hands, folding forward. So make sure the feet are hip distance apart. Taking hold of opposite elbows, coming into ragdoll pose. So keep the knees nice and soft. And maybe just start to sway the torso from side to side. Just loosening up through the lower spine, through the backs of the legs. Making sure you're still breathing nice and deeply. In and out through the nose. And taking the arms behind, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Push the hands towards the head. So really stretch out those shoulders as much as you can. You can keep your knees soft here, or you can straighten out the legs, so whatever feels comfortable for you. Make sure your head and your neck stays really relaxed. And just bringing the chest towards the thighs. And carefully releasing the hands down towards the mat, and we'll slowly roll up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Keep your chin to your chest, just slowly making your way back up, just rolling the shoulders back a couple of times, and then interlacing the fingers. Bring the index fingers together, take the arms up and overhead. I'm just going to come into a little side stretch, so just leaning over to one side, just stretching out down through the side of the body, coming back to center, leaning over to the other side, taking in a couple of deep breaths here, and then back to center. So let's find our mountain pose, Tadasana. So coming to the top of your mat, bringing your big toes together, ankles slightly apart, having the arms by the side of your body, spread the fingers nice and wide, rooting down through the feet and reaching up through the crown of the head. Bringing the palms together at heart center. Nice big inhale, lift the palms up. As you exhale, let's fold forwards into Uttanasana, forward fold. So bend the knees as much as you need to here. Try and get the palms on the mat. As you inhale, coming up to a flat back, halfway lift, looking up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step your right foot back. Let's come into that first low lunge here. So pushing back through that right heel, nice straight leg. Pushing back through the right leg, gazing towards the top of your mat. Palms to the mat, stepping back into your high plank pose. So hips nice and low, engage the core muscles, push back through the heels, press down through the palms, pushing up through the shoulder blades. Let's drop the knees to the mat, bend the elbows, chest and chin down to the mat, and then slide through, finding your low cobra pose. So hug the elbows into the body. Tucking the toes, bring the seat back to the heels, lifting yourself back up into your downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Nice big inhale, step the right foot forwards. Find that low lunge, really stretch out through the hip flexors. Bring the left foot forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, take the arms out wide overhead. Exhale, palms together through heart center, folding forwards. Inhale, take a halfway lift. As you exhale, stepping the left foot back. Find that low lunge on this left side. Left leg nice and straight, pushing back through the left heel. Stepping back into your high plank pose. So really press up through the shoulder blades, engage those core muscles. Dropping the knees to the mat, the chest and the chin. Inhale, slide forwards. Baby cobra pose. Push the chest forwards. Tucking the toes, bringing the seat to the heels, lifting yourself up into your downward facing dog. Nice big inhale. Step the left foot forwards, finding that low lunge, stretching out those hips. Bring the right foot forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, take the palms out wide, coming up to standing. Palms together through heart center, coming back to your mountain pose, Tadasana. Okay, let's take the hands to the hips and step the left foot back. So a long stride back with that left foot. Get those hips nice and low. And when you've got your balance, releasing the arms up to the sky, coming into your crescent lunge pose, Anjanasana. So sinking nice and deeply into those hips, keeping the right knee over the right ankle, chest facing forwards, lifting up through the arms, pushing back through that left heel, and then bring your palms together at heart center. As you exhale, we're going to take a twist to the right. So hook your left elbow over the right thigh, turn to look over your right shoulder for Parivrtta Parsvakonasana, revolved side angle pose. So press those palms together really firmly into the heart center, looking over that right shoulder, pushing back, twisting as you exhale. As you release, drop the back heel down, make your way into Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. So sinking deeply into those hips, extending from fingertip to fingertip. And just pushing that right knee towards your right little toe, so you're opening up through the hips. Softening down through the shoulders. Let's take the right forearm onto the right thigh, and the left arm comes up and overhead, palm facing down, turning to look at your left elbow crease for Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle pose. So feel that lengthening down the left side of the body. Just gently push that left shoulder back, keeping the chest nice and lifted, and keep reaching this left arm towards the top of your mat. Just bring the hands down to the mat, step it forwards, and come all the way back up, finding your mountain pose. So hands to the hips, take your right foot back this time. So a long stride back, find that crescent lunge on the left, reach the arms up to the sky, sink down into those hips, trying to keep that left knee over the left ankle, arms up to the sky, spread the fingers nice and wide, soften down through the shoulders, and bring the palms together at heart center. Nice big inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, twist to the left. So hooking that right elbow over the left thigh and turning to look over your left shoulder. So really try and press the palms into the center of the chest, pushing that left shoulder back. Try to look directly behind you if you can. And keep focusing on that right leg, pressing back through that right heel. As we release, Open up into warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. So take the feet nice and wide, sink down into that left knee. I've got lots of creepy crawlies all over me. So gaze over your left middle finger, have a little look behind you, check you've got a straight line from fingertip to fingertip, and then sink down into your hips and just pushing that left knee towards the left little toe, just opening up the hips, sinking down as low as you can, and then taking the left forearm onto the left thigh. Right arm comes up and overhead, palm facing down. Turn to look at your right elbow crease for Utthita Parsvakonasana. Extended side angle pose. Keep reaching that right arm, feeling that lengthening down the right side of the body. Let's release both hands to the mat. Step the back foot in. So big toes touching. Sink down into the knees. Let's come up into our chair pose, Utkatasana. So squeezing the knees together, sinking down nice and low. Reach the arms up to the sky and looking towards the space between your hands. Spread the fingers nice and wide. I'm just going to turn around this way. Let's bring the palms together at heart center. As you exhale, twist to your right. So left elbow hooks over the right thigh. Turn to look over your right shoulder for Parivrtta Utkatasana, revolved chair pose. So keep squeezing those knees together. Keep pushing that right shoulder back. Keep rotating as you exhale. Nice deep breaths. Keep sinking down into those hips. As you release, taking the feet hip distance apart. Take your two peace fingers, wrap them around your big toes. Inhale to look up, and then as you exhale, fold forwards into our big toe grab, Padangusthasana. So bend the knees as much as you need to here. If your hamstrings are feeling really tight, then just really soften into the knees. Make sure the head and the neck completely relax, so keep the head really heavy, elbows out to the sides, and just draw the chest towards the thighs as much as you can, feeling the spine lengthening as you fold forwards. Let's release the toes, bring the feet back together again, bend into the knees. Let's come back up into our chair pose, Utkatasana. So tucking the tailbone under, engaging those core muscles, reach the arms up to the sky, feeling the weight into the heels in this pose. If you look down, you should be able to see your toes, and then we'll bring the palms together at heart center. As you exhale, twist to the left. So right elbow hooks over the left thigh. Turn to look over your left shoulder for our revolved chair pose, Parivrtta Utkatasana. So pressing the left palm on top of the right palm. Try and get the palms into the center of the chest. And keep pushing that left shoulder back as much as you can. Get that rotation while sinking down into the hips. As we release, back to center. Taking the feet hip distance apart, and this time we'll slide our hands underneath our feet. So bend the knees as much as you need to here, and just try to get your toes to touch your wrist creases. Inhale to look up, exhale to fold forwards. Padahastasana, gorilla pose. Making sure that head has got no tension in it, relax the neck. And then just feeling the spine lengthening as we get this full body stretch for the whole of the back of the body. Keeping the knees soft if you need to. Maybe just trying to straighten them out a little bit. A couple more deep breaths here. And then carefully slide the hands out, and we'll slowly roll back up to standing. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of balancing now. I'm not sure how this is going to go because it's quite an even surface, but let's have a go. So take your right knee into your right hand, flex your right foot, and then slowly start to open the right leg out to the side as much as you can. Release the left arm for a counterbalance. And then you can just stay here in this first position, or maybe you can turn to look over your left thumb for Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So keep drawing that right leg back as much as you can. Soften down through the shoulders. Just standing up nice and tall, using your core muscles. Nice deep breaths. Draw the belly button in towards the spine. And just turn round. So as you draw that right leg back into the center line, bring your palms together at heart center, and then slowly fold forwards into our warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. So kicking that right leg up behind you, palms together at heart center, pressing the thumbs into the sternum, right toes pointing down towards your mat, so you're pushing back through that right heel, and just keeping the chest slightly lifted here. And then coming back to Tadasana. Okay, let's do the other side. So bringing the left knee into the left hand. Take a moment, get your balance, then open up that left leg to the side. Release your right arm out, either staying here or turning to look over your right thumb. So super flexing that left foot, pushing that left heel towards the top of the mat, standing up as tall as you can, engaging your core muscles, softening down through the shoulders, and then we will transition into our warrior 3. So bring that left leg back into center, palms together at heart center, and then slowly fold forwards, kicking the left leg back, coming into Virabhadrasana 3, warrior 3. So keeping the left foot flexed, push those left toes down towards the mat, using the core muscles for a bit of stability, and pressing the palms together at heart center. Slowly coming back up to standing. Okay, let's come back to the top of our mat, find our mountain pose, Tadasana. Take the hands onto the hips and step your left foot back, coming into warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. So make sure the hips are squared off to the front of the mat, nice deep bend into that right knee, and then reaching the arms up to the sky. Spread the fingers nice and wide, soften down through the shoulders. Keep that left foot grounded, so nice straight left leg. Try and keep that right knee over your right ankle. And then we'll open the arms up. Let's find that warrior 2 again. So maybe taking the feet a little bit further apart. Sink down into those hips. Push that right knee away from you. And taking the gaze over the right middle finger for Virabhadrasana 2. On your next inhalation, let's straighten the front leg. As you exhale, reach forwards and down, coming into your triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana. So both legs straight, both arms straight, just resting that right hand on the right leg, looking up towards your left thumb, and just gently push that left shoulder back, really opening up through the chest. Keep lifting up through that left arm, and just using your core muscles here, so try not to collapse over that right leg. Then turning to look at your right foot, let's come back up to standing. Turn the right toes in, maybe take the feet a little bit further apart, big toes turned in slightly. Nice big inhale, look up and lengthen. As you exhale, slowly fold forwards, taking the palms down towards the mat. Now if they don't reach the mat, then just place them on the legs. Otherwise, press the palms down, shaking the head out, make sure there's no creases in the neck, so totally relax the head and the neck. Maybe keeping a bit of softness in the knees. This is quite an intense stretch through the backs of the legs. So keep a bit of softness in the knees if you need to. Drawing the navel in, and just folding forwards with every exhalation. Keeping the hips up nice and high. Prasarita Padottanasana, wide stance, forward fold. And then slowly walking the hands around to the front of the mat. Bring the back foot in a little bit and make your way up to standing. So you should have your right foot forwards, left foot behind. Let's take the arms behind the back, take hold of opposite elbows. Nice big inhale, look up and lengthen, and then as you exhale, take a fold forwards, taking your gaze to your right big toe for Parsvottanasana. So nice deep stretch for that right hamstring. So try and keep both legs straight if you can. Press down into the heels. Actively draw the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the core muscles engaged and try not to lean over to the side. So keep the hips squared off to the front of your mat. Keeping the neck long, just gazing at the right big toe. Let's release the arms out to the side and then take a twist to the right. So the left hand goes on the right leg and the right arm goes up to the sky, turning to look at your right thumb for our revolved triangle pose, Parita Trikonasana. So pushing that right shoulder back, rotate your rib cage towards the sky. Using that exhale, keep lifting up through that right arm. So have a couple more deep breaths here. Press down through the feet. And then release the arms, coming back up, finding your mountain pose. Okay, let's do that on the left. So hands to the hips, taking the right foot back. So nice long stride back. Bend into that left knee. So make sure your hips are facing forwards before reaching the arms up to the sky. Coming into your Warrior One, Virabhadrasana One. So really rooting down through that right foot, sinking into that left knee. Try and keep the left knee over the left ankle. Nice straight arms, spread the fingers wide. And then we'll open the arms up into Warrior Two. So just maybe taking the feet a little bit further apart, checking you've got a straight line from fingertip to fingertip, and then sinking down into those hips, softening down through the shoulders, looking over your left middle finger, maybe just pushing that left knee towards your left little toe, opening up through the hips. On your next inhalation, straightening the front leg, exhale to reach forwards and down into your triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana. So both palms facing away from you, just resting that left hand on the left leg. Both legs straight, both arms straight. And just pushing that right shoulder back as much as you can, lifting up through the right arm, really extending and opening up through the chest. Turning to look at your left foot, coming back up to standing, taking the hands to the hips, turn the left toes in, maybe take the feet a little bit wider apart. Nice big inhale, let's look up and lengthen, and then as you exhale, interlace the fingers behind you, take the arms overhead, come into a forward fold with arm variation. So squeeze the shoulder blades together, push the hands towards the head, make sure that head and neck is totally relaxed, drawing the navel in, and maybe keeping softness in the knees if you need to as well. So if it feels really intense through the back of the legs, then just folding forwards, really feeling the spine lengthening as well as opening up through the backs of the legs. And carefully releasing the hands down towards the mat, walking the fingertips round to the front. Bring the back foot in a little bit and make your way up to standing. So left foot forwards, right foot behind. Take the arms behind you, take hold of opposite elbows. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale to fold forwards, coming into Parsvottanasana, intense side stretch. So hips are squared off towards the top of your mat, so no leaning over to the side. Taking your gaze to your left big toe, pressing down through the heels, just feeling that lengthening down the back of the left leg. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, and really firmly and actively press down through your heels. Engage those leg muscles. Let's release the arms out to the side. Take a twist to the left. Right hand onto the left leg. Left arm up to the sky. Turning to look at your left thumb for our revolved triangle pose. Pararita Trikonasana. So pushing that left shoulder back. Keep lifting up through that left arm. Using that exhale to twist a bit deeper. And then carefully release. So let's come all the way down onto the mat. Let's find that tabletop position. We're just going to get a little bit into our hips now. So coming into half pigeon pose. Bring your right knee towards your right wrist and extend the left leg back behind you. Okay, so just have a little look behind. Make sure you've got a straight line with that left leg. And just draw that right knee out to the side. So just check what works for you, what works for your hips. Trying to get this right shin as parallel to the top of the mat as you can, but not forcing it, just however your hips are feeling today. So let's take a nice big inhale. Let's look up and lengthen to start with. Come into a little back bend. And then you can just stay on the hands, or maybe you creep the hands forwards. Maybe bring the forehead down onto the mat. Again, whichever position works for you, not forcing yourself into any uncomfortable positions. So maybe you just stay up on the hands, that's absolutely fine. You just want to feel that stretch through the hips. So keep lengthening back through that left leg, gently pressing the hips down towards the mat. Just using gravity to open up through the hips for Ardha Kapotasana, half pigeon pose. Just take a couple more deep breaths here. And then slowly making your way back up into an upright position, either staying here or maybe you can bend that left leg in towards the body, reach behind and just gently draw that left leg in, just coming into a bit of a quad stretch here. So just draw that left leg as close into the body as you can. And then carefully release that leg down. So rolling onto your right hip, swing the left leg round to the front of the mat and bring the right sole of the foot into the left inner thigh. Let's inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale to reach forwards for that left foot. So maybe you just reach for the shin, maybe it's the ankle, maybe it's your foot. Maybe you have a little bend in the knee if your hamstring is feeling really tight. And then just holding on with both hands as much as you can to get this nice equal stretch through the spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forwards. So bringing the crown of your head towards your left foot. Sorry for the noise. Just keep drawing the chest towards that left thigh. Pressing that right knee down into the mat as well, so opening up that right hip. Okay, so keeping the left leg extended, just take that right leg and cross the right foot over the left leg. Take the right hand behind you. Inhale the left arm up to the sky. As you exhale, hook the left elbow over the right thigh. Turn to look over your right shoulder for a seated spinal twist. So keep pushing that right shoulder back as much as you can. Inhaling, sitting up tall. Exhale to rotate. Pressing down through that right palm. Try to look directly behind you so you get that full stretch. And then slowly make your way back to center. Take a little counter twist over to the other side. And then keeping that left leg extended, just bring the right foot in towards the body. So you're stacking the right knee on top of the left knee. So coming into half shoelace pose. And this may be as far as you go in this pose. This is absolutely fine, just staying in this first position. Or maybe you can bend the left knee, bring the left foot in towards the body for full shoelace pose. So whichever position you're in, making sure the right knee is stacked on top of the left knee. Try to have both sit bones on the mat. And let's take a little arm variation while we're here. So take the right arm up and overhead. Reach behind with your left hand. And see if you can join the hands up. And don't worry if they don't meet. Just grab onto your top, or you can use a yoga strap or a towel or anything. And then just push that right shoulder back as much as you can. So this is really good if you've got tight shoulders. So sitting up nice and tall, opening up those hips as well as the shoulders. Just taking in a few deep breaths here. And then releasing the arms, releasing the legs. Maybe take a little sway from side to side, just release those hips. And we'll set up for half pigeon on the left. So bringing your left knee towards your left wrist, lengthening your right leg out behind you. So just setting yourself up for half pigeon here, making sure you're not leaning over to the side, so make sure you're squared off to the front of the mat. And then either staying here in this upright position. Well, let's take a little back bend to start with. So nice big inhale, let's look up, just arching the spine. And then exhale, either staying up on the palms, or you can walk the hands forwards, maybe bring the forehead down onto the mat. So again, just work with your body on this side. It might be feeling completely different to the other side. So just working mindfully, not forcing yourself into anything. Just feeling that stretch wherever you are, whichever position you're in. Just keep lengthening back through that right leg, pressing the hips down. Just allowing gravity to draw the body down, opening up the hips. And just focusing on your breath here, in and out through the nose. Slowly just start to make your way back up into an upright position, either staying on the palms, or maybe you bend that right leg and reach behind with the right hand for a little quad stretch. So just keep squeezing the right leg in towards your body as much as you can. Just stretching out that quad, pushing the chest forwards. Carefully release that right leg down, falling onto your left side. Swing the right leg round. So right leg is extended. Bring the left sole of the foot into the right inner thigh. Let's inhale, lift the arms up, and then exhale to fold forwards into Jana Sarasana, half forward fold. So again, just see how far you can reach on this side. Maybe you keep the right knee bent. Holding on with both hands. Inhale, nice big lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold forwards, bringing the chest towards that right thigh. Crown of the head reaching towards the right foot, and just gently pressing that left knee down into the mat, so you're getting a little hip opener on that left side. And feeling your spine lengthening as well as you draw the crown of the head towards that right foot. So getting a really good full body stretch here. And carefully releasing your grip on that right leg. Keep the right leg extended, cross the left foot over the right leg. Try to keep that left sole of the foot on the mat. Take the left hand behind you. Inhale the right arm up, and then as you exhale, just hook the right elbow over the left thigh. Turn to look over your left shoulder for our seated spinal twist. So keep the right leg active, flex that right foot, pushing the right heel away. And keep pushing that left shoulder back, rotating on the exhalation, pressing down through that left palm, sitting up tall, rotating on the exhalation. And we'll slowly release, take a little counter twist over to the other side. And then keeping the right leg extended, just draw the left foot in towards the body so the left knee is stacked on top of the right knee. So again, this may be as far as you go on this side, so just staying in half shoelace pose. Or you can bend the right knee, draw the right foot in towards the body, coming into a full shoelace pose. So left knee stacks on top of the right knee. Try and have both sit bones on the mat and just draw the feet in towards the body. If you start to feel any pain in your knees, then just come into the half shoelace version. So let's take our arm variation. So left arm up and overhead, just place the left palm between the shoulder blades, reach behind with the right. See if you can clasp the hands together, and if you can't, then just grabbing onto your top or a towel or yoga strap. Sitting up nice and tall, just pushing that left shoulder back as much as you can, just opening up through the shoulders, sitting up nice and tall, feeling that opening through the shoulders as well as opening up through the hips in our shoelace pose. So let's just take a few deep breaths here. Sitting up as tall as you can. Try and keep the chest open. If you're kind of hunched over like this, then a good idea to get a towel or yoga strap so the arms can be in a bit more of a comfortable position. And then carefully release those arms, uncross the legs.
Sorry.
And then just gently release the hips from side to side. I think they're just in there. Yeah. Just release those hips a little bit. Oh, okay, let's get into our back a little bit now. So let's come into a lying down on the mat position. Let's take our cobra pose. So palms on the mat, hug the elbows in towards the body. We're just going to take a little back bend here. So nice inhale, lift up the chest for Bhujangasana Cobra. So really hug, squeeze the elbows in as much as you can, lifting up through the chest. So just a gentle back bend here, not going too deep. Pushing up through the chest, draw the shoulders back. And then slowly bring your forehead to the mat. Take the arms behind you, interlace the fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. On your next inhalation, lift up the legs, the arms and the chest into Purna Salambasana, full locust pose. So taking the gaze down towards the mat, keep the neck nice and long, lifting up everything that you can up off the mat. Keep lifting, lifting, squeeze the shoulder blades together and release. Well done. So palms on the mat. You're going to push up into an upward facing dog. So you can just start in this lower position here. Press down through the palms. Push the chest forwards. So you can stay in this first position, or you can push up so just the tops of the feet and the palms are on the mat for Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. So push the chest forwards, draw the shoulders back, looking up. If it gets too much, you can just drop the thighs down onto the mat, coming into a cobra pose. And then push yourself back onto your knees and come into a camel pose. So taking the palms onto the lower spine, push the chest forwards and just start to lean back, coming into half camel pose. So keep pushing the hips forwards. You can let the head go. If your neck feels okay, you can let the head go, or you can keep the head up. So just depending on how your neck is feeling today. Draw the shoulder blades together, really open up the chest. And just taking a few deep breaths here. And then slowly coming back up. So you can take another one of those, another half camel pose. Or if you want to take full camel pose, reaching back for the heels with the fingertips. So push the chest forwards, keep pushing those hips forwards. Again, you can keep the head up or you can drop the head down. Nice deep breaths. Really open up through the chest here. So Ustrasana, camel pose. And there's a little bit of an easier version of this one that you can do, little cheat. You can tuck your toes under, and that just gives you a little bit more height. So it's a little bit easier to reach behind for those heels. Or just staying in the first position in that first like half camel pose. And then let's bring ourselves up and then down onto the mat. Let's come into our bridge pose. So come all the way down. Soles of the feet on the mat. Make sure the feet are pointing forwards and have the thighs parallel to each other. Make sure you can just touch the heels with your fingertips. As you inhale, lift up the hips, interlace the fingers behind you, maybe tuck the shoulders under, and then lift yourself up as high as you can into Setu Bandhasana bridge pose. So really press down through the heels. Try and keep the thighs parallel to each other so they're not wanging out to the side. Make sure they're nice and straight. Keeping your chin to your chest. Lifting up. Taking a few deep breaths here. Keep lifting up as high as you can. And then slowly come back down. Squeeze the knees into the chest. Have a little rock from side to side. Just rounding the spine after those back bends. And then we'll take a little rock up to seated, coming into our boat pose, half boat pose, Ardhanavasana. So you can keep the hands behind the knees. Try and keep the spine nice and straight, shins parallel to the mat. And you can just stay in this first position, or for a bit of an extra challenge, you can release the legs, just have the arms by the side. So just gazing over those toes, keeping the chest lifted. Nice deep breath, just engage your core muscles. Try to just focus on your breath. Let's take some little leg raises while we're here. So nice and slowly with control. Just lifting up one leg and then the other. And release. Well done. Let's hug the knees in. Tuck the chin to the chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And then coming down onto the back. Let's take the legs up into the air for a little inversion. So if you have a shoulder stand in your practice, then go ahead and do your shoulder stand. I'm not going to do it here because the ground feels a little bit unstable, but go ahead if you know what you're doing. Otherwise, just take a nice restorative feet up in the air pose. You can have the arms behind the knees, or you can have the arms alongside the body. Or if you're near to a wall, you can prop the feet up against the wall, which is a really nice restful pose. Really good for your circulation. Give those feet a little bit of a rest. So just take a few deep breaths here. Just relaxing the legs. And we'll just start to do a few leg raises while we're here. So single leg raises. If you're in your shoulder stand, then feel free to go into plow pose. Otherwise, we're just going to take some little leg raises. Try and keep both legs straight. Try not to touch the mat. Just working those core muscles. Nice and slowly with control. And then hugging both knees into the chest again. So if you're out of your shoulder stand, let's all do a fish pose together. So lift up your hips, slide the hands underneath your body, palms on the mat, thumbs touching. Extend your legs, bend the elbows, lift the chest up and tuck your head under. Coming into our fish pose. Crown of the head on the mat, pushing the chest forwards. Just taking a few nice deep breaths here. And slowly untuck the head, bring yourself down. Squeeze the knees into the chest again. And then slowly lower your knees over to the right hand side and extend your left arm out to the side, turning to look over your left arm. So coming into a reclining spinal twist. Just placing that right hand on top of the left knee. Softening both shoulders down into the mat. Maybe closing the eyes here for a few breaths. Just feeling that nice release for the spine. Nice opening up through the chest. And as you exhale, just melting down into that pose. And gently engage your abdominal muscles. Bring yourself back to center and slowly twist to the other side. So knees to the left. Extend the right arm out to the side. Turn to look over your right arm. And you can just place that left hand on top of the right knee. Soften down through the shoulders. Try to have both shoulders pressed down onto the mat. Maybe closing the eyes again. Just taking a few breaths here. Release any tension from the spine. And slowly bring yourself back to center. Squeeze the knees in. Bring your forehead to your knees. Wrap your arms around your shins. Squeeze yourself into a tiny little ball. And then release yourself down into Shavasana. Coming into your final relaxation. So closing down your eyes. And coming to lie flat on your back. So you can let go of that pranayama, that breath control. Just return your breath to its natural rhythm. And just having the arms alongside the body, palms facing up. Just allow your feet to fall out to the sides. Just letting go of any remaining tension in your body. Just letting go of any remaining tension in your mind. And just allow your body to melt into your mat. Remembering that you can feel free to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you would like to. But otherwise, we're just going to slowly start to move your fingers, moving your toes, turning the head from side to side, taking your arms overhead, having a full body stretch, fingertips to toes. Stretch out the body as much as you can. And then draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a good squeeze, have a little rock from side to side. Slowly rolling onto your right side, left palm on the mat. Keeping your eyes closed, just making your way up into a comfortable seated position, bringing your palms together at heart center. And we'll take one more deep breath together. So take a nice big inhale in through the nose and a long exhalation out through the nose. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed the sounds of the countryside. It was certainly a different experience, but I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully see you again next time.